try to tell y'all, man. I try to tell y'all. All you people out there that were hating on Oklahoma and gleefully and spastically taking delight in their supposed demise, I tried to tell you, man, that this guy, Brent Venables, has already had 2 top 10 classes, and one of those is now still ascending as we speak. This guy's been able to recruit everywhere he's been. He's been under Dabo Swinney out on the East Coast in a very fertile recruiting ground in North Carolina and Florida, and even under Bob Stoops out here in Texas and Oklahoma and the Midwest, even Louisiana. So, the ascension of Oklahoma recruiting is still ascending. Let's talk about it. How's it going out there today, boys and girls in sporting land? This is JPC, that stands for Jesse Paul Clark on Facebook. Also, this is the OCF, the Outlaw of College Football, and I'm also on Twitter at OCF Productions. Now, getting right to it here. Seems like they're still ascending. You know, you thought this 2023 class was over for Brent Venables and the University of Oklahoma, but people forget that we have an early signing period and a late signing period. And more people now sign in the early signing period. So what's probably going to end up happening is the late signing period is probably just going to go away, in my opinion. I mean, why not just have one signing period? I mean, they're only, 2 months apart? It's pretty silly. But some of them still need time to make up their mind, I reckon. So maybe we will keep the 2 signing periods. But usually once you sign a bunch of players in the early signing period, your ranking becomes stagnant and usually stay in the same spot. There ain't much more room to go up once you get in the top 5 like Brent Venables has achieved this year. I'm going to throw some graphics up here periodically as I always do. But they've now rose to number 4 in the ESPN rankings. And they're number 5 in 247 Sports. I think they were already that, but they also rose in Rivals as well. It's because they got a few more players out there that are coveted by a lot of teams. These are 3- and 4-star players, but the most notable one that's still out there from what I'm seeing on my notes here is a guy by the name of Tyler Heim. He is a 3-star athlete from Bethany, Oklahoma, who holds a dozen offers from big-name schools around the nation, but they're saying that Oklahoma is indeed crystal ball to get Tyler Heim, or however you say his last name. So with that, you also have the astounding stat here, in my estimation, especially from some of the stuff that took place this year with Oklahoma, a lot of turmoil. You would think a lot of players would have flipped and left Oklahoma, but they were able to sign all 25 strong. And they also brought in 14 of those 25 as early enrollees. That's big time right there, because getting in and getting with the team and learning the terminologies early and not waiting until the fall gets you ahead of the curve big time. And to have 14 of these guys come in shows the dedication and the character of the player that Brent Venables recruited. Because it ain't just about the 5 stars. You also got to have the character as well. You got to be able to evaluate players when you bring them in, because there's been numerous 5 stars that didn't pan out. I'd venture to say that more 5 stars don't pan out than 3 and 4 stars. Matter of fact, I know that's probably the case. Also, looking down here at the notes, it seems like now they're getting to the 2024 and 2025 classes. They're already in on another big-time quarterback by the name of Michael Hawkins, who's a 4-star quarterback out of Frisco, Texas. Now, they got Jackson Arnold already in tow coming into next year's class, and you bring in Michael Hawkins as well. That's what we call developing depth. And once you can start stockpiling talent and developing depth, you start having a situation like you saw occur at Georgia, where they stockpiled it, and yeah, they lost to Alabama a few times in the process, but eventually it paid off. I think the same thing is happening with Brent Venables in Oklahoma. They're stockpiling. They're being patient. They're getting the right people. They're getting the right people that believe in their system and their process and the character that they want on their team. And it's going to build to something, I think, one day it's going to be pretty great for Oklahoma. And the transition to the SEC is going to be a little more fluid than some people may think, in my opinion. Also, it says here that ESPN is pushing Peyton Bowen as probably one of the most elite safeties of all time. They're even saying this guy might come in and crack the starting lineup right off the bat. Not only Peyton Bowen, but Josh Pate, who's a pretty big name now in podcasting. He's a pretty knowledgeable guy, so I consider him a pretty good source. He's saying that Jackson Arnold may actually come in and start. He said that the pound for pound, that this guy is the most impressive quarterback of this recruiting cycle. And for Josh Pate to go on record and saying that says a lot, because Josh don't just throw around compliments and accolades like that for everybody. So it looks like the future for Oklahoma football may be a little bit more brighter than people think. They may have to put on some sunshades because that shine from the sun of the Oklahoma program seems like it might be bearing down and come to fruition a little bit sooner than people think. Like I said, I've pointed back to this before. Bob Stoops started out 7-5 his first year at Oklahoma and then won a national title in his second year. Nick Saban, 7-6, come back and won an undefeated regular season, played for the SEC title, lost to Tebow in that first meeting, but eventually in the third year, Saban went back again and this time rectified it and won the national championship. So I'm not saying that Brent Venables is going to be the next Nick Saban or Bob Stoops. I'm just saying that the way he's recruiting and the way things are looking, he very well could be an elite coach one day that is probably going to win at least 1 or 2 national championships, in my opinion. And also, before I get off of here, there's a few smaller podcasts out there that's of the Oklahoma variety. I've been having little arguments with them back and forth. And you guys and gals may have saw that from the Oklahoma fan base, but it wasn't a slight towards y'all. It's, when my team's in the wrong, I admit they're in the wrong. People see me in the past in my former channel where I actually went after Nick Saban, called him out on some things that he'd done that I didn't think was right, called Alabama out on some things that they done. So these smaller podcasts out there, they're getting aggravated with me because I'm just not buying into them attacking my team and my coach because they have been trying to interview Jeff Lebby. That's not me trying to take a jab at y'all. That's just me trying to be truthful with y'all. See, these other podcasts out here, these Homer podcasts, they're going to tell you what you want to hear, so you'll click on their stuff. You see, because to me, in my opinion, and this is no slight towards Oklahoma, Nick Saban is not going to go out and go after a coach, especially probably what is considered the second most important position on the coaching staff, probably tied with defensive coordinator, just because he feels threatened by a certain coach or a certain program. I mean, Nick Saban's got a lot of programs to worry about. I mean, Georgia is a neighboring state that's competing with us constantly. Auburn, in-state, Tennessee, also neighboring states on the rise, Ohio State. There's numerous programs out there that Nick Saban would be worried about as well. He's not going to be just worried about one program, and he's not out to try to undercut Oklahoma just by going out and wasting an important coaching position on getting possibly Jeff Lebby just to get at Oklahoma. He's not doing that. And that's all I said. I didn't say that Oklahoma wasn't worthy of keeping Jeff Lebby or that it wouldn't be a lateral move. I was just saying that there are reasons why Jeff Lebby may come to Alabama. But these people want to label me as, oh, you're being biased because Nick Saban's your coach. And that's the only reason you're taking it from him. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. I'm just letting y'all know, man, that Nick Saban would not go out and hire a coach on the premise of trying to undercut another program that's not even in his conference yet. It's just, I'm just not buying that. And for these little smaller podcasters to try to take a shot at me and say I'm being biased, y'all know that's not the truth. And that's all I got to say about that. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel if you don't mind. Also, there's a heart underneath here. Hit that. It says thanks. Throw me a few dollars in the coffers. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.